and together we will build a better America.
Congressional District 3 Democrats first met Sharon's son in her 2012 bid to win the DFL endorsement to run against Eric Paulsen. Sharon's son and her campaign team were passionate, enthusiastic, and pragmatic, but Brian Barnes won the DFL nod. This year, the story was different. On May 3, Sharon, mother of two, and a scientist turned businesswoman turned corporate manager and technical communications advisor, won the DFL endorsement for Congressional District 3 by acclamation. Sharon's campaign office in Wayzata opened on June 11. Sharon's son, welcome to Democratic Visions.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Sharon, running for Congress is a daunting task. What got you into the race?
I got into this race after going to Eric Paulsen's office about various issues. The last time I went there was a group of seniors that went in to talk along with me about his decision to vote to voucherize Medicare and to put Social Security on the stock market. And the seniors afterwards asked me to go to coffee because we saw that Eric Paulsen was not going to listen to us. And they said, you know, we think that you can speak for us. I thought about that, and I thought about my son who has special needs, and I've worked in the special needs community advocating for parents who had children who needed support and who are valuable to our community. I made the decision that this is a fight that I needed to stand up for families, for working families, for children with special needs, and for our seniors.
Sounds like he gave you the Tea Party refrain, voucherize Medicare, in other words, limit Medicare, and put Social Security into the stock market and see what happens. I mean, that's essentially what that means, doesn't it?
Right, right. Eric Paulsen is voting to support large, big businesses and cutting investment in our communities for our families, our hard-working people.
Now, Sharon, I know you have an active and impressive campaign. What are the top issues that you're going to be focusing on as you go forward?
Number one is education. I want to go to Washington to fight for early childhood, for making sure that the government stands up to its responsibility for special education. It should be paying 40% of that. It's not doing that.
Never has it?
It never has. And that burden is being borne by our schools. Our government needs to step in and do what it's supposed to do.
Now, when it came time to bail out the banks, the senators came together. But now we've got students strapped down by debt, carrying it around on their back for life.
Also for education, trillions of dollars in student loan debt. The college debt is breaking their back. It's the next bubble threatening our economy.
We allowed that to happen. We allowed the cost of education to go up so we could cut somebody's taxes. And we have a responsibility to take that burden off of their backs.
And I'm going to ask you about your next issue, but I already know what it is because I know you have a passion for green energy. Why do you bring that to the table?
Well, I'm a scientist. I came to Minnesota, as a matter of fact, to go to McAllister to become a scientist. I've worked in renewable energy. I worked for one of Minnesota's great entrepreneurs, Bill Norris. He believed that the future of our economy was in renewable energy. I worked on developing a battery to look at storing wind energy. So I know firsthand we can develop green energy technology. We call it renewables now. Mm-hmm. Every home in Israel has on their roof a renewable energy source, every home.
That's interesting.
What if we did that here in America? We need to accept the science of global warming. And that's one thing my opponent, Eric Paulsen, has voted to not allow the EPA to even test the greenhouse gases. Big oil and big business, they don't want us to go into green energy. They have really rigged the system. They've rigged our politicians so that our politicians are now voting against our own best interests.
Some might say bought off. That's just an expression that I might use. You don't have to agree with that or not. But what can the federal government do to promote green energy?
Right now, to big oil and the coal industry, we are giving billions of dollars in tax breaks. That money could be used to incentivize development in green technology that would create thousands and thousands of jobs. Right here in Minnesota, we have a gentleman, Dan, I talked to just the other day. He lives in Champlin. He has a business of installing solar panels on homes. He is ramping up his business. The people want this, but it's cost prohibitive. We could take those billions of dollars and invest them in green technology. It helps offset the cost for our citizens who want this to offset global warming.
I, for one, would say that the Congress could use a scientist or two who understands the implications of the energy situation that we find ourselves in. I'm not trying to preempt here, but I know that one of the issues that you're also interested in is the Affordable Care Act. Give me your critique on the Affordable Care Act and what can be done in the future to make it work even better.
I fought to help pass that bill.
Great.
And I fought for it for a couple of reasons. One, when we're looking at our economy, our entrepreneurs that are starting up these solar energies, these wind energies, these geothermal companies, these new technology companies, they cannot be strapped down by the high cost of health care. They need to be free to move about.
Right.
I fought for that.
They have to have health care that's transportable.
That's right. And for another reason is because 30 million Americans were without health coverage. So we needed to do something. Not a perfect bill. I want to go to Washington to help make that better. But we have a congressman who is currently representing this district who has voted 52 times to take away the health coverage that people have today.
Hand in hand with Michelle Bachmann, is that what you're trying to tell me?
Well, he worked hand in hand with her right here in Minnesota, and he's votes quite a bit with her. So, yes.
Nothing's perfect. You know, Social Security, when it was adopted, wasn't perfect, but you know, it takes a time to roll things out, and you look to have Congress to act responsibly to correct the problems that always surface when a new program of this significance is adopted.
We all need to work together and prosper together.
I agree with you. Sharon, just about 700,000 citizens reside in the 3rd Congressional District. Many of the voters out here consider themselves to be independent. So now, tell me please, why should an independent voter listen to what you have to say in the campaign that we're involved in?
Well, in short, I would say because I'm a scientist, I am going to be going to Washington. I will be making my decisions based on data, based on fact, and not based on ideology. What I'm going to be looking at is what's best for the people of the 3rd District. I had someone tell me once that if politicians were to make their decisions on this one question, on every policy vote that they made, they would be the best politician possible.
And that is?
What's best for the children?
Very nice.
What's best
and
for the
accurate,
children?
as you think about it, it's right across the board. That's a sounding...
And right.
Okay, tell me, between you and me, okay, we'll throw our viewers in there. How do you plan to win this thing?
It is possible. It's possible because President Obama won this district twice. It's possible because of the 35 electeds that we send to the state from this district. 20 are Democrats and 20 are women. It's possible because I just recently saw some polling data that showed that Eric Paulsen's unfavorables were higher than his favorables. And it's possible because we've already started making phone calls and knocking on doors and telling our message.
Sharon, you deliver a very powerful message, and I wish you the best of luck in your campaign.
Thank you, Tim. It's been great being here.
Democratic Visions is independently handcrafted by lefty Southwest Suburban volunteers for the entire metro region.